Well, busy night in the National Hockey League. Let's see what happened elsewhere on the ice. The Red Wings took to the road to match up with the Capitals. Detroit terrorized their opponents with a big offensive night. The Blackhawks were on the road to take on the Jets. Winnipeg posts a win in a close one. The Hurricanes were looking to steal 2 points against the Flames. Carolina trusted the system, they stayed with it, and they pull out the win. We got a jam-packed show. We've got a lot more stuff we got to get to, so don't even think about going anywhere. Stay with us. Well, some fun, some drama, a little bit of everything on the ice tonight. Let's take a look at some of those scores around the league. The Capitals were on the road up against the Bruins. Washington pulverized the competition with this one. The Flyers were hoping to grab 2 points up against the Lightning. Philadelphia took this one with a strong game at both ends of the ice. The Islanders took to the ice to lock up with the Maple Leafs. The New York Islanders tightened it up late when they needed to most, and they pick up the 2 points. Lots more still to come, including the story in MMA, the hardwood, and more. Stay with us. All right, let's get all you poolies and all you hockey fans caught up on all the action out on the ice tonight. The Kraken paired up with the Islanders. The New York Islanders talked a big game going in. They back it up with a clean sheet shutout win. The Blue Shirts were in a dogfight on the road up against the Penguins. The New York Rangers took this one with a strong defensive effort in their own end. The Devils went toe-to-toe on the road against the Blues. New Jersey topples their opponents with a strong effort. Time for a quick break, but we got a lot more coming up on the ice next. let's take a look around the league and some of the final scores out there tonight. The Flames were hoping to take a bite out of the Devils. New Jersey pummels the opposition into submission with a big offensive night. The Panthers were hoping to play spoiler against the Jets. Winnipeg toughs one out and pick up the win. The Preds battled it out against the Kraken. Seattle played a thriller, and they score the OT winner to take the extra point. Don't go anywhere. We've got much more here on the show. Well, let's take a look at how the standings were impacted with some of the final scores around the league tonight. The Ducks took to the road to match up with the Kraken. Seattle terrorizes their opponents with the win. There were other games beyond just this one here in the NHL tonight. Let's get you caught up on some of those finals. The Sharks took on the Canadiens. Montreal played a strong game at both ends of the ice, and as a result, they get the win. The Panthers faced off against the Blue Jackets. Columbus topples the opposition with a strong defensive effort. We got to take a quick pause for the cause, but we got a lot more coming up on the other side. Stay with us. All right, at this time, let's get you caught up on all the action on the ice tonight. The Flames were hoping to come up with 2 points on the road against the Ducks. Calgary plasters the opposition with a strong offensive performance. The Red Wings were on the road to take on the Devils. New Jersey takes this one with a strong effort at both ends of the ice. The Blue Jackets look to run roughshod over the Lightning. Tampa peppered the opposition goaltender early and often winning big. Hey, we got to take a quick pause for the cause, but we got a lot more on the other side. Don't even think about leaving us. Now let's take a look at some of the rest of the action tonight in the NHL. The Ducks had their hands full with the Sharks. Anaheim treated everybody to a brilliant offensive display. Let's take a look at this time at some of the other final results around the league tonight. The Penguins were in a dogfight on the road against the Kraken. Seattle put on a defensive clinic in the shutout victory. The Maple Leafs were hoping to quiet the crowd on the road against the Canadiens. Toronto turns in a strong defensive effort, enough to preserve the win. Lots more to get to on the ice. Stay with us, everybody. And I appreciate the call. Thanks very much for that, Dino. And that's a great point. And I do wonder, at what point does the organization sit him down and say, look, you've got to adjust here because you got to find a way to adapt. You are spending way too much time in the penalty box. And you know what? It is hard to chase a game, and it is hard to win when you're constantly trying to kill penalties collectively as a team. Look, I like this player. I think there's a lot there. But you've got to find a way to stop finding your way in the sin bin time and time again. All right, let's get back to the phones here. We go to Joe. Let's take a look at the rest of the action on the ice tonight in the National Hockey League. The Kraken played a game against the Red Wings. Seattle posts the 2 points after coming up clutch in the skills competition in the shootout. The Coyotes were in tough with the Stars. Dallas terrorizes the opposition with a big goal-scoring night in the win. The Bees had an on-ice collision with the Senators. Boston posts the win with a strong defensive front when it mattered most. Lots more puck talk coming your way, and we'll get to it next. All right, at this time, everyone, we'll catch you up on what went down in all the action in the league tonight. The Ducks were looking to grab points on the road against the Maple Leafs. Anaheim tested their mettle in this one, but they still come away with the win. The Lightning played on the road against the Oilers. Tampa Bay played maybe one of their strongest games of the year at both ends of the ice and get the win. The Pens were hoping their offense would show up in a big way against the Sabres. Pittsburgh takes this one in a tightly contested affair and the bragging rights to go with it. We got to take a quick break, but we got a lot more coming your way next. All right, let's take a look at some of the final scores in the league tonight. The Canadiens were looking to steal 2 against the Golden Knights. Vegas pile drove their competition with a big-time win. The Kraken paired up with the Canucks. Seattle topples the opposition with a big goal-scoring effort. The Canes took to the ice for a collision with the Sabres. Buffalo plastered the opposition with a big-time night offensively. The story on the ice continues in a moment. And I'll bring it back to him for a second here because my understanding is that the coaching staff finally had that conversation to say, hey, look, you need to tighten up the discipline. We like your compete level. That's great. But it's coming to the point where it's hurting the team by spending too much time in the penalty box. Stay with that fire, but just be more disciplined with that sort of approach. It's harnessing energy the right way, right? It's like how many times when you're bouncing off the wall as a kid, your parents kind of tell you, hey, just settle down a bit. I think this is what the coaching staff is trying to preach here with this guy. All right, back to the phones we go. We've got Tony on line 3. Hey, Tony. Was there any volatility in the standings across the NHL tonight? Well, let's take a look at some of the final scores to find out. The Ducks faced off with the Coyotes. Arizona took it in overtime and skate off into the night with the 2 points. Hey, we've got some other final scores we want to get you caught up with around the league, and we'll do that now. The Oilers were hoping to fly high on the road against the Jets. Edmonton poked out a victory in a tight one. The Flames took to the ice to battle the Senators. Ottawa tramples the opposition with a big offensive night. Hey, a few more hot button issues we got to get to. It's a jam-packed show tonight. Stick around. Let's check in on some of the final scores across the league tonight. The Oilers had a tall order to fill as they tried to take two on the road against the Ducks. Edmonton plays pad the stat night with a strong offensive performance. The Sabres took to the road to match up with the Canucks. Buffalo tore it up on this night and they easily pick up the win. The Caps were on the road to take on the Islanders. The New York Islanders toughed this one out and they get the 2 points. Hey, we got to pay a couple of bills here, but we got a lot more action we got to get to. Stay with us. Let's take a look at the scoreboard of what went down tonight on the ice. The Ducks were looking to steal 2 points against the Rangers. The New York Rangers terrific in the shootout portion of the game, and they get the extra point to go with it. The Stars were on the road up against the Blackhawks. Chicago pressed on, always persevered, and they get the win. The Blue Jackets were hoping to grab 2 points up against the Hurricanes. Columbus takes this one in a tightly contested affair. We'll check the inbox, we'll check the text line, and hear what you have to say next. Busy night of action on the ice. Let's take a look at some of the finals that are in from tonight. The Penguins took to the ice to lock up with the Canadiens. Pittsburgh posts an impressive win in a tightly contested affair. The Capitals were in a dogfight on the road up against the Rangers. The New York Rangers tightened it up late when they needed to most, and they pick up the 2 points. The Kraken played a game against the Sharks. Seattle played a sound defensive game and pick up the regulation win. A very special guest drops by on the show, and we'll do that next. Great night to be on the couch and watching hockey. Tons of scores around the league. Let's take a look at what went down. The Cats went toe-to-toe on the road against the Ducks. Florida tees up a strong offensive game, and they easily pick up the win. The Hurricanes were hoping to take a bite out of the Devils. Carolina pulls one out in a nail-biter. The Blues were hoping to play spoiler against the Penguins. Pittsburgh turns it up to another level in this one, and they pick up the win. Don't even think about touching that dial or touching that button. We've got plenty more on the ice, and that's next. All right, lots of wild happenings on the ice tonight. Let's take a look at some of the scores of what went down. The Leafs battled it out against the Blue Jackets. Columbus powers through in a tight one. The Jets took to the road to match up with the Hurricanes. Carolina, too much to handle on this night, and they pick up the win. The Kraken played on the road against the Oilers. Seattle parties it up in overtime with the win. We got to take a quick break, everybody, but we've got a lot more to get to. Stay with us. Hey, no shortage of action and drama on the ice tonight. Let's take a look at what happened elsewhere. The Ducks took on the Predators. Nashville tops the opposition in a game that had a little bit of everything on this night. Hey, this wasn't the only stop in the National Hockey League tonight. Elsewhere around the league, the Wild paired up with the Blue Jackets. Minnesota proved to be a little too much to handle in this night. The Avalanche played a game against the Sharks. San Jose turned it up to another level here in this one, and they pick up the win. We are as cool as ice, and we are bringing you many more stories from the NHL. We're doing it next. Those were pretty pointed comments from the coaching staff to say, hey, look, you need to tighten it up on the ice. You are way too undisciplined out there. We've tried to talk to you about this, and you're not getting the message. I don't know what's next, but I would think that maybe some playing time that could be shaved if you're not going to listen to what the coaching staff's telling you. But look, too many reckless penalties. It's hurting the team. But I thought it was pretty public from the coach's sentiment there from those comments that he needs to tighten it up. All right, meantime, some other interesting comments around the NHL here. Time to take a look at what happened around the league as we check in on some of the scores. The Capitals faced off against the Predators. Nashville pounded home the winner in overtime. The Sharks were hoping to come up with 2 points on the road against the Oilers. San Jose terrorized the opposition with a magical offensive display. The Wild played on the road against the Flames. Calgary persevered through the night, and they get the shootout win. We got a jam-packed show. We've got a lot more stuff we got to get to, so don't even think about going anywhere. Stay with us. Okay, everybody, let's take a quick look at some of the final scores around the league tonight. The Ducks were on the road to take on the Blackhawks. Chicago too much to handle in the shootout as they come away with the win. The Canucks look to run roughshod over the Avalanche. Colorado posts the shutout with a brilliant defensive effort. The Caps had their hands full with the Flyers. Washington technically was as good as it gets defensively in this one, and they get the win. Lots more still to come, including the story in MMA, the hardwood, and more. Stay with us. All right, let's go around the horn and see what happened elsewhere around the NHL tonight. The Hawks ran a dogfight on the road against the Ducks. Anaheim puts on a magical offensive display for the win. With this one in the books, there's a few other final scores we'll get you caught up on at this time. The Predators were hoping to quiet the crowd on the road against the Wild. Nashville trampled the opposition on a night they just couldn't miss the net. The Sharks were in tough with the Avalanche. San Jose pushed on through thanks to the shootout win. Time for a quick break, but we got a lot more coming up on the ice next. Coming into this one, can he hit 50? That's what we're wondering. Right there on the cut line, can they hit that 50-goal mark? That would be a fun storyline to track as we inch closer and closer to puck drop. Ray Ferraro will join me up in the broadcast booth in just a few minutes. We'll get his thoughts as we get ready. Well, busy night in the National Hockey League. Let's see what happened elsewhere on the ice. The Ducks had an on-ice collision with the Predators. Nashville toughed this one out, and they get the 2 points. The Bruins were looking to grab points on the road against the Maple Leafs. Toronto peppered the opposition with plenty of goals en route to the win. The Jets were hoping their offense would show up in a big way against the Kraken. Seattle turned it up a notch in the extra frame, and they come home with the 2 points. Don't go anywhere. We've got much more here on the show. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to EA Sports. It's already been a tremendous homestand for the home side, but they'll try to put the cherry on top tonight. The Ducks win the draw, and they'll start on the attack. Takes it into the slot. Oh, he kind of struggled with that one, but he got just enough to keep it out.
Well, he makes an incredible save on a point-blank shot here, James. I love the way he's aggressive, he's competitive, and he wins the battle.
And it's a quick pass to Parkman. He's got a step. Oh, to rise above the play.
And this is
Puck is deflected. And the goaltender comes up with a piece of it to keep it out of the net. And he takes the dish. Right up Main Street and on the attack. Edmonton's looking to break out of their own end. Looking dangerous as they move along the boards. Fires it on net. Waffle boarded by Vladar. The Ducks move the puck in the defensive zone. From the left side, he moves it up ahead. They've got the defense outnumbered. That's gloved by Georgiev.
Listen, James, the shooter's in the slot. This is as high danger as it can get, and he challenges, he's set, ready to go in great position, and makes the save as a result.
Karpinen's known for getting away from defenders with his spin-around zone ability, guys. His balance and quick thinking makes him so hard to check.
Taken by Karpinen. Yeah, refs don't like that. There's the whistle as the net comes off. Lots of hockey left to be played in this period. We're still scoreless. Play resumes as they win the draw here inside the offensive zone. And that's broken up. Big time shot block there. Here's a short pass to Bushnevich. Sends the pass over.
Well, this is a primetime clinic on how to own. That's a true competitor's save. Just when you think that he's completely out of it, James, he comes across with a desperation save to keep his team alive.
Tremendous pressure here in the offensive end. They're coming in waves. Moves it around. There's a save. All sorts of pressure. They have got the D on their heels. Looking, moves around. Moves it along the wall. Moves it around. Scores! Well, was that quick enough for you?
Yeah, it was quick. You want to dictate pace, especially when the puck drops, and putting one in early, that's the best way to get it done. This is such an impressive goal, James. He's in a tight space, and he knows exactly where his opponent is, and those silky mitts, they're put to work. You know how often he's practiced on those. He makes his move not once, twice, multiple times to be able to bury it.
Puck grab by Dermott. Looking to make something happen along the boards. Spectacular glove save by Georgiev.
Well, that's an unbelievable save. A grade A scoring chance taken away as he flashes the leather and makes the stop.
Karpinen's great at keeping the opposition guessing with his spin-around zone ability. He uses that to create space in order to generate chances.
Offensive zone face-off, and he wins the draw. Oh, and he just gets a piece of it to keep it out. Drives it to the crease. Scores! It's in the back of the net.
A pair of goals just 20 seconds apart.
Quick response back-to-back here, and the team is humming.
Man, talk about putting your opponent on there.
Anaheim's come to play tonight. They have been busy on the offensive scoreboard. And off the face-off, they take possession. The Oilers play it along the wing. Here's the pass in front. And that's stopped. Answered the call there.
Vladar is the competitor, and he is not afraid to compete for every single puck and outwill and outbattle his opponent. And that highlight reel save, it is something, James, because just when you think it's almost in, he finds a way to get to that puck. Such an athletic goaltender.
Georgiev's going to hang on to the puck for a whistle. Lots of time left in this period. Anaheim's got a 2-goal lead. They'd love to build on it. Sends it quickly to Karpinen.
Man, has he ever been dangerous tonight? He's got 2 goals, and he's looking for his third.
Moves the puck. Edmonton's going on the attack as they gain the zone. The Ducks have it against the wall. Quick pass to Karpinen. Anaheim's all alone.
communication at its finest to be able to get to that puck and sending a clear message to...
Scores! Make it 49 on the season, and he's one away from the magic number of 50.
Oh, we've seen his skill set all year around the net, James. His eyes are on the prize. Number 50, I say he does it.
Anaheim's won the draw in the neutral zone. Cuts to the front. Big time save. Oh, my goodness.
Well, throw technique out the window. This time it's all about the competitive will to get to that puck.
Anaheim's got the puck behind the net. And that goes off the goal. Oh, spectacular save right there. Wow.
Unbelievable. I mean, it was all done in, and he steals it because of that last-ditch attempt to find the puck. Just incredible save, James.
They fight for it along the boards. And they come up with it as the puck skips out. Breakaway! Oh, that just looked like indecisiveness there, Cheryl.
Yeah, and a lack of confidence as well, James. When you're in all alone, you have to know exactly what you want to do, and you have to play with authority.
To the front! And the shot dies in the traffic jam. Karpinen's got it in the offensive zone. Scores! That's 50! 50 on the season! He's done it!
You can put his name up there with some of the greats, James. 50 is a coveted number, and he just got there.
50 goals for the rookie, and to think not long ago we were wondering if he was going to make the team.
It's pretty incredible, isn't it? You know that the contributions that skilled players can make, but when they enter the league, it's a completely different story. The pace is different, the physicality is different. He has answered the call in every area.
Edmonton's got it against the boards. Handles the pass. Levels him with the hit. Through center along the wing.
Edmonton's going to need to find some energy if they want to get back in this one. What a dull start to the game.
Stops that one. Slides it quickly to Bushnevich. And we'll get a breather here with offside the call. The Ducks are dominating in almost every facet of the game here in the first. The Oilers win it. Along the side, here they come through the neutral zone. The Oilers have it in the offensive end. Turns it away.
Well, the shooter's in a coveted spot on the ice, right in the middle of it with a good look, and he makes an incredible save by getting square to the puck and turning it aside.
The Oilers have it now. The Ducks going to work on offense. Anaheim's got the puck along the wall. Takes it to the net. Fantastic save. From the slot. And that shot dies in traffic. The Oilers gain possession along the wall. Oh, he got all that. What a save by Kochetkov. Well past the midway mark of this period, the Ducks lead it 4-0. They have dominated. Here's a stretch pass to Karpinen. Chance in front. Stopped by the goaltender.
You have to be quick in your crease if you want to be able to deny low zone shots. He does that perfectly as he's tight to the shooter right there.
Takes a shot. Turns that one away. And they'll cover it up, forcing a stoppage in play. Anaheim's got the lead here in the first as they have been the more dominant team in the offensive area. Karpinen's won a big draw on their own end. Unable to reach that one. They've got numbers. Play blown dead. Let's get the call. Look who's jumping in here, Cheryl. His teammate wanted no part, but he certainly did.
Yeah, he's protecting him almost if he's a bodyguard. He dumps right in and he's ready to go, and he says, hey, I'll take that. I'll take the invitation.
Well, a spirited scrap comes to an end with the takedown.
I think he might be relieved as they head to the ice as he was taking a thrashing.
I think you're right.
You have to pick your moments in a game, James, and this fighting is a product of picking a moment to try and rally the troops, if you will, and try and build some momentum in this game.
There's the buzzer. Fans seem to enjoy that first 20 minutes. We'll get to the second period right after both teams get a chance to catch their breath. Stick around. And congratulations again, 50 goals in the season. You know, to this day, and it's always been revered as that magical mark. Ever since Rocket Richard hit it, how many years ago? And here we are even now after all these years. Even in a different century, we still look to 50 as being a magical number in the National Hockey League. So congratulations on hitting 50. That's one time when you turn 50 that it's okay, right? All right, still to come here on the show, we will hear post-game reaction. Well, some fun, some drama. All right, let's get all you poolies and all you hockey fans caught up on all the action out on the ice tonight. The Maple Leafs took to the ice for a collision with the Rangers. The New York Rangers tightened it up about as good as they can with a shutout win. The Kraken paired up with the Golden Knights. Seattle performed brilliantly in the skills competition, and they get the shootout win. The Islanders faced off with the Blue Jackets. Columbus toughed this one out, and they get the win. We got to take a quick pause for the cause, but we got a lot more coming up on the other side. Stay with us. Look, I don't think there's a debate at any point in time anymore. I think it's pretty fair to say that he is that cornerstone franchise player that everybody was hoping he could turn out to be. He's probably even better than what we anticipated, to be honest with you. I love the way he plays. I love what he brings on a regular basis. He is, I think, officially in the NHL universe, a franchise cornerstone player. I don't think there's any denying that from what we've seen so far this year. All right, time for... the whole narrative and the expression being good in the room, right? You know, chemistry is important with a team. You know, how many times have we seen teams that are absolutely stacked with talent and they fall apart? Why? Because there was just a disconnect within the room. And I know with some reporters and some of the media members asking the kid, saying, hey, you know what, why, how do you endear yourself to teammates more? I don't know if there's ever really an answer. I mean, you can go out and, you know, try to be the best player you can be. That's one way to do it. You know, personally speaking, I think another great way to do it is buying everybody pizza. Because, you know who likes pizza? Everybody, right? Everybody loves pizza. Let's go back to the phones here. Let's go to Brent. Brent is on line 3. Let's take a look around the league and some of the final scores out there tonight. The Ducks were hoping to fly high on the road against the Jets. Winnipeg puts on a clinical offensive display in the win. This wasn't the only game in the league tonight. Let's get you caught up on some of the other finals. The Avs took to the ice to battle the Islanders. The New York Islanders triumphed easily in this one. The Blackhawks had a tall order to fill as they tried to take two on the road against the Oilers. Edmonton puts in a full 60-minute effort to pull this one out. Hey, we got to take a quick pause for the cause, but we got a lot more on the other side. Don't even think about leaving us. Well, let's take a look at how the standings were impacted with some of the final scores around the league tonight. The Wild played a game against the Senators. Minnesota takes this one thanks to a strong defensive effort. The Blue Jackets took to the road to match up with the Rangers. The New York Rangers turned it up to 11 in this one and easily pick up the win. The Flames were on the road to take on the Stars. Dallas topples their opponents with a strong effort late. Lots more to get to on the ice. Stay with us, everybody. All right, at this time, let's get you caught up on all the action on the ice tonight. The Blues were looking to steal 2 points against the Ducks. St. Louis puts in a workmanlike effort in this one, and they get the win. The Wild played on the road against the Coyotes. Arizona teed up a victory in a tightly contested affair. The Blackhawks were on the road up against the Kraken. Chicago posts the win in a tightly contested affair. Lots more puck talk coming your way, and we'll get to it next. Now let's take a look at some of the rest of the action tonight in the NHL. The Panthers were hoping to grab 2 points up against the Ducks. Florida totally dominant in this one, scoring at will, it seemed, in the win. The Predators took to the ice to lock up with the Golden Knights. Nashville pulls this one out after finding the back of the net in overtime. The Canadiens were in a dogfight on the road up against the Red Wings. Detroit toppled their opponents with a big offensive night. We got to take a quick break, but we got a lot more coming your way next. Let's take a look at the rest of the action on the ice tonight in the National Hockey League. The Oilers went toe-to-toe on the road against the Ducks. Anaheim pounded their opponents into submission with a huge offensive effort. The Blue Jackets were hoping to take a bite out of the Canadiens. Montreal tore it up offensively, and they skate away with the win. The Flames were hoping to play spoiler against the Wild. Calgary put up a strong fight, and they do enough to get the win. The story on the ice continues in a moment.